November 27th, 2007, we gained the house. This home was uninhabitable to anyone to live in it. However, the city allowed one person to live here, our co-founder, Raymond Lopez. Raymond Lopez gave his last 3 years of his living life to help construct and fix this place to have people living here, to help them. And he died of dementia. Early on, the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, came in here, and when we had no electricity, we were using an extension cord and a lamp. They came in and did all new wiring, gave us a new service, with other people donating the materials. Another person donated the gas furnace that's in the basement. In 2009, we opened up the house for the program. Our program is like 350 class study hours, along with daily devotional, memory verses they learn once a week, along with many other rules and things they must follow. We've had 11 graduates that have gone through a serious program. There was a period of time in my life that I needed some help. I went to the TulareRescueMission. That is an awesome mission. They help a lot of people. However, what I saw was that they missed a very large group. That group of people being disabled. And when you talk about disabled, there is so many different types of disabilities. That seeing wheelchairs going down the street. People who can't get up 32 steps. Or if they have a medication from a doctor that they may not be allowed in. When you have a man gets out of a hospital from a botched operation, has to wait a year before he can have another operation. He's not very well. But I want to say that he got his operation. He looks completely new, lost weight, and this man is incredible and a lover of Jesus. Another one who came fully able, was working for us, did a lot of work, couldn't breathe. However, when he goes to the doctors, they found out they have 3 spots or lumps on his lung. And now he can't physically do work. And when he graduated, he was able to go to work for a concrete company that knew him and pulled him on the side of the road to get him started. But now he can't do that kind of work. He works for us. He works for the house of God. Kenny Collins is the one that went to the St. Johns River. I took care of him for about 5 years. He's been through my program. Heck of a person. What a heart. And while he was at the St. Johns River, everyone who needed the Word of God to be shared, they all went to Kenny Collins. He prayed over everyone's meal. When they needed help, he was the one over there to help them. If it was to build their tent, if it was anything, he was there. And then when Kenny died, and the coroner called me and says, "You are his pastor, and I want you to come and pick up his things." When we had a funeral for him, we call it a wake, a celebration of life, of new life. When we had the celebration of life, he had that whole place full of people celebrating in his death, because we all knew where he was, with Christ. There was a knock at the door one day. The man said, "Can I come in?" I said, "Sure." He says, "My name's Larry Arch." I said, "Well, nice to meet you. Come on in." Larry is the CEO of the Fresno Rescue Mission. He came in, we talked, he's heard about us, and he said he wanted to help. He is our sponsor with the Association of the Gospel Rescue Mission, or you may know it as AGRM. And we joined the AGRM May of of 2012. And I went to Florida. And there are people there with $2 million, $12 million, $18 million missions a year. And we're about $30,000. My first time there. And they all embraced me like family.
2 failed marriages, you know, due to drugs. You know, it's pretty much ran my life in those marriages. Of course, wasn't getting anywhere, failed. I did a little prison time, and I won't go into, you know, details on that.
I was homeless before I came here. I was on the streets, had a life of, was bad drug life and everything like that. My health had deteriorated and I ended up in the hospital. I was let out of the hospital with nowhere to go. After they did surgery on me, it didn't go good. And so there was nothing they could do. And they let me go, and I had nowhere to go. I was just out there, didn't know, I was wandering the streets. I had no place to go at all.
I came down from Washington, state of Washington, on the Canadian border. And I was broke at the time. I'd used all my savings up, unemployed. Came down to visit my brother. Ended up having 3 heart attacks in one day.
In 2003, I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have my family to bring me in. So it was really terrible, and I was an alcoholic.
When I was 20, I was in a motorcycle accident and I broke my back and became paralyzed and was told I was going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And so I'm also an addict and alcoholic. And a few months back, I found myself in jail. I got into a little bit of trouble with my drinking and my drug use. And I was in jail for a few months.
And pretty much lost everything, lost my family. Had nowhere to go when I got out. And of course, God brought me here. It's His mission. And He's gave me new life. You know, He's changed me. You know, I've got my family back now. You know, throughout this whole year that I've been here in this program. I graduated a month ago, by the way.
And I've graduated from the program. I'm doing great. I go to a really nice church here in town, Bethel Assembly of God, and I play in the music worship team. I play guitar, and it's something I used to do a long time ago, and I didn't think I'd ever get to do again.
So I spent 16 days in the hospital intensive care. Got out, my sister called, who's a nurse by Zayah Delta Hospital. Called over here, she knew who Mark was, and I had an interview, came over, got moved in. I've been here for 18 months. Decided to stay because I liked what it stood for and what Mark was trying to do, and eventually will get done, I hope.
I came to this place, the Homeland Mission, and I asked Pastor Mark, can I stay? And he said, yeah. So I stay in this program. It's a real good program. And I graduated from here. And so I move on with my life. So I have a wonderful place to live. And it was an incredible journey. My life, I went through a battle.
Part of my probation getting out of jail was to find a 90-day inpatient drug treatment facility, and it was a self-pay. I wasn't assigned to go, so it was a self-pay type program. And so when I got out of jail, I had 30 days to find one. And so the first place I went was to a drug rehab that I was familiar with in Visalia. and they wanted $2,000 a month, which is a little bit out of my price range. And then I proceeded to go to a rescue mission and was told that they don't take wheelchairs. And so, but they gave me the number for Mark McPhee at Tulare Rescue Mission and told me to give him a call and that they work with the disabled and the homeless. And so the next day I called Mark and he said, well, I have a bed for you if you can get up the steps. And so I got up the steps and I've been here since. And so what I've learned here is that God is in control of everything and we're all His children, and that by praying and actively seeking and doing His will, that all our problems, all our mortal problems will be solved.
I was homeless before I came here. I was on the street for quite a while, and the reason I came was just looking for shelter. I knew that I had heard that it was a spiritual based, Christ-based house, a program, and I thought, you know what, I can do this. I was counting the months because it was becoming winter time. It was getting cold, so I'm counting the months, thinking, okay, 7 months, that'll be the summer. I'll be fine, and then I'll have the winter to stay here, and then I'll move on. I came in and I asked Mark if I could stay, and he said, let me pray about it. I thought, great, pray about it. And he came back and he said, yeah, you can stay the night. And then it just snowballed after that. I ended up coming in the program, and I started seeing God right away, which I had not planned on. That wasn't part of the equation that I was thinking about. I was thinking food and shelter and get healthy again and then go back. And all of a sudden I start getting hit by things with God. And I mean, really hit with, God was really working, and still is working on me. I ended up caring about myself. I ended up caring about other people that I had no intention on doing whatsoever. I was worried about myself, and now all of a sudden I care what my friend is doing or what he's not doing, or whatever the case may be.
And when we talk about the homeless and the people that come right off the street that have no training, have nothing, they know nothing about the Lord. Pastors, not a clue what it's like to love people like that. To have passion enough to love them. To have them brought into your home to live with you under those conditions. To love them so much that you don't judge them. That you give them the Lord, our God. To see changes in each one of these men. I let them in my home. I live here. I live here 7 days a week. And I can only share God's word with them. It's between them and God. And the work of God in that individual. So you will see through these men how much God has touched them. I'm just the servant. I just served the message. For I found the way out of the desert into the promised land. And I'm just showing them. I can't take the credit except for I said, here I am, Lord, send me. So if there's anything that your spirit feels to help us, you're not just helping Judy and I. It's the Spirit of God to help this mission, to help people that no one else will help. If they're out of a hospital and need help, a hospital recovery, if they had a botched operation, if they're in a wheelchair, if they're in crutches, or even the able-bodied person, we ask you, come join us and see what God's doing. You might just get some too. I thank you, and I bless all of you.